Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And Buckgeister here with the Man Hour. If I put the right button here, we all would be able to figure it out. What's going on here? There we go, Combsy. I couldn't figure it out, man. What's up, Man Hour Nation? This is Michael Buckgeister with the Man Hour. We are back to our normal settings there. I mean, if I can, you know what, Combs? I'm not even going to try right, man. I'm not. Can we just go ahead and restart the show? Like, sheesh. Right off the bat, bada bing, bada boom. Take two.
You're all flustered, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring up our names, but I can't remember how to do it. Do you remember how to do it?
You know what? I think I
There
do.
you go. I got it. There you go.
All right.
All right. What's up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckgeister here with the Mr. Brandon Breesy Combs at Man Hour _ Combs on the old Twitter machine. This is Man Hour live, raw, and uncut sports talk. We do got an hour, actually 2-hour show for you tonight. Action-packed show where we're going to basically talk all NFL quarterbacks right now. I mean, not all NFL quarterbacks. Is who really wants to talk Lamar Jackson at the end of the day, that trash of a quarterback. But we're going to talk NFL rookie.
It's already starting off on the wrong foot too.
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna have somebody coming in and talking about Mac Jones is gonna be number 1. I mean, that's worse than you even hitting the wrong button and stumbling over yourself at the beginning. Like, you're a professional. This guy, I mean, Mac Jones will be
first of all,
the best
look at his
quarterback
name,
out of the
Julio
draft.
Rivera. I mean, that's like Julio Jones plus Mike Rivera, or what's Rivera's coach?
Ron
coach
Rivera.
Name? Ron Rivera. Yeah, that's a match made in heaven, isn't it?
Yeah, look. They are not. Mac Jones is not going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. And Damian says, "Whoa, way too much Chicago on my screen."
Facts, 100% facts. Let them hear it.
I mean,
pretty soon mine's going to be nothing but Chiefs. As soon as I get moved into my house and get this painted the way I want it to, and no more like looking like I'm in a closet, right? I guess.
Yeah, I don't know where Damian's from. I don't know who his team is, so I can't really bag on him yet. But he could tell me who his name is, and I could talk some trash with him.
I don't know. Maybe he's a Colts fan. Like, you never know. I believe he's from the Indiana area, Chicago area. I'm not for sure, but either way. Speaking of the Chicago Combs, it is time to talk about your boy, Mr. Justin Fields himself. And quite frankly, Combs, he looked pretty stellar out there against 3rd and 4th stringers that probably will be bagging groceries next week. But that's here nor there. He still looked pretty impressive with the talent he was playing against.
Yeah.
How do you think his showing was this weekend, Combs?
I thought it was great. I mean, look, as Bears fans, we've been relegated to watch some of the worst quarterback play in the history of the NFL throughout the life of our organization. And to see a guy who can make reads, who can check down, who can escape pressure when the pocket collapses, and make things happen by throwing on the run, it was a breath of fresh air. I do got to pause a little bit. And, I mean, he still made some mistakes. There was still,
his first NFL game, right?
He went to go spin, and he fumbled the ball. They recovered, he recovered his own fumble. But he learned from it. He even said after the game, he said, "I think I'm going to retire the spin move." And so it's just things like that. And so, look, I was impressed. I still think that he should start week 1. However, I no longer think they're going to start him week 1. I think it's going to be week 4. I think they're gonna end up starting in week 4, and I don't think the record matters. I just think that they're gonna get him through that first gauntlet of games where they play L.A., Cincy, and I believe it's the Browns as well. So they got to get through those first 3 games, and then I think that they'll bring him in. I think that he's absolutely ready. He's absolutely the best quarterback on the roster. I mean, there's nothing. Look, people are like, oh, well, you only saw 2 series from Andy Dalton. I've seen an entire career from Andy Dalton. I don't need to see much more to know that Justin Fields can do things on the field already that Andy Dalton cannot.
Right.
And so I'm excited to see the kid play. I think he's gonna play, by week 4. I don't think it'll be much later than that. I would like to see him start week 1 because, look, let's be honest. This is a really tough schedule, and you're not going to the Super Bowl anyway, So even if you do start Andy Dalton, and say you're just like, oh, we're going to ride this thing out with Andy Dalton. Say he comes out and wins a couple of games and whatever. You sneak in as a wild card team with Andy Dalton as your quarterback, and you lose in the first round. What good does that do you? What good does that do you?
Well, I mean, they did it last year, and they got Justin Fields, right?
But you're right. But what good does that do you in a time where you can just bring in Justin Fields? What if Justin Fields does the same thing? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're going to a playoffs with Andy Dalton, you're a contender with Justin Fields. It's just that simple. Look, I know you're high on Andy Dalton. I know you like Andy Dalton a lot. You talk about him all the time. I've seen enough from Andy Dalton, an entire career where he's never even proven that he can win a playoff game. I don't need to see that anymore. Chicago has had this quarterback and Andy Dalton our entire franchise. We want Justin Fields now. We want the good quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to your point there, Justin Fields, I think, is arguably the best quarterback on that roster right now. We saw him doing things that a Patrick Mahomes was doing, a Lamar Jackson. Like, I believe they had the stat tracker on him. He hit like 20 miles an hour. Can Andy Dalton hit 20 miles an hour on a scramble? Maybe falling down from a plane skydiving. Like, that's about it, right? I mean, he definitely isn't going to hit no 20 mile an hour, but
I heard somebody saying the announcers on the Bears radio call said he's running so fast he has to wipe off his visor because bugs are hitting his windshield.
Nice. So, but the one thing that kind of scared me a little bit is maybe Justin Fields had too much success his first game, because if you listen to his post-game interview, he said everything was moving slower. Stop. Okay.
Don't be that guy. I talked about this last night with Wayne G. You saw the meme that they put on Facebook. It was half of the quote. The entire quote was a boost for his defense. He said everything seemed to be moving slower because I practice all week against our defense, and I think that they're faster than Miami's defense, so everything was moving slower to me.
Yeah, okay. Basically, what he was saying, everything was coming easy because the Bears have the best defense in the league. Come on, man, the Bears don't even have a top 10 defense.
Oh, so stop yourself right now, Michael Buckheister.
No, but
the Bears don't have a top 10 defense in the league. Are you out of your mind?
They might slide in at number 10, but definitely not higher than that. Hell, give me the Lions defense over the Bears defense any day of the week. But that always kind of scares me. Like when you get this early season success, like you don't come to work as hard like the next day. I
don't think that's a problem with this kid, man. Yeah. I hear that his work ethic is great.
Yes.
It seems like him and Andy Dalton get along great. So and don't get this isn't a slight at Andy Dalton, but at some point you already know that this kid is taking over.
Yeah.
At some point,
he has to know
he's
in there to hand the reins over per se.
He's a stopgap, and so if you're Andy Dalton and you don't feel like you're a stopgap, say, look, I don't want to do this. Give him the ball. Send me somewhere else.
Well,
do it. Because you still got Nick Foles to be your backup, and Nick Foles is always a better backup than he is a starter, right? So
I don't know. You were screaming for him to start last year since like week 2.
Because we had Mitch Trubisky, which I can't wait for this weekend's preseason game. Mitch Trubisky versus the Chicago Bears. I really hope that him and Justin Fields are like taking snaps in the same time frame. So you get to see.
I hope Mitchell Trubisky throws 4 touchdowns versus that against that Bears defense.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie. That would probably piss me off.
Do you guys play
I would probably
Thursday
just throw
or Friday?
my hands up.
You guys play Thursday or
I believe
Friday?
it's Saturday again.
It's a Saturday game. So
I think
Sunday night show when Mitchell Trubisky comes on, or when he lights it up for 4 touchdowns against that Chicago Bears defense, we may not see Combs for like 3 or 4 days here. Let's just be flat out honest.
Well, see, the thing is too is that there's only 3 preseason games this year, so you're going to see.
This is the game, right? The game.
This is the game where you should see more
right?
starters, right? You should
Right.
see your starters for more. So I'm really interested to see how the Bears play between Dalton and Fields. I'm also really interested to see. Last week, Mitch Trubisky only took 2 snaps. He was like the 4th starter. Like he wasn't even the backup.
Which is weird
Yeah.
to me, right?
They had 2 other guys who were getting more playing time than Mitchell Trubisky. So I don't even know if Mitchell Trubisky is going to make the team.
Well, I like
let alone get playing time.
I like a Jake Fromm, but for some reason,
Yeah.
people aren't giving him the time of day because he used some racial slur back in like '96 or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Something regardless like that.
That's how we live nowadays, right?
Yeah, let's
Complain
flash
about
back
something
to
that was done 25
1996.
years ago.
Yeah, Bill Clinton, right? It's Bill Clinton's fault that
When
the gas
he
prices
was
are so
12.
high.
Yeah, it's Bill Clinton. If he wasn't getting those blowjobs under desks, he'd be, gas prices would be a lot lower.
Exactly. So, Combs, let's go ahead and jump into the comments here. Like I said, Damon said, whoa, too much Chicago on the screen. And we asked him where he was. He's a Packers, Brewers, Badgers, and Miami Heat, but Wisconsin
What the
boy.
hell?
So, it is all Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Miami Heat. What the hell is that? Like they
That's
haven't
kinda-
had the Milwaukee Bucks your entire life?
He must be friends with Drew because, Drew does have like 16 teams right there.
Drew is just like our boy Mike LeBlanc.
Oh,
We're going to just pick 7 teams from each sport because one of them's got to be good at some point.
Right. And speaking of Mike, usually
the
guys on
Miami
Mondays we have a segment called Mike's Thoughts where he comes on and just rants and raves. But he'll be MIA tonight. He has prior obligations. Drew says, "Howdy boys, what's going on, Drew? Thank you for being here." And this is referring to Justin Fields. I'm saying he's a whip. I'm not for sure what that means.
Work in progress.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean,
I
are we
don't.
all working progress?
Yeah, the best thing is that he learns from his mistakes, and that's what we saw,
Yeah.
which we haven't seen. I think that's why Bears fans get so excited because we haven't seen that in the past. We've seen just the same mistake after same mistake after same
Right.
mistake. You know what I mean? So I feel like now we're seeing a kid in Justin Fields who is just going to learn and he's going to grow and he's going to get better.
Yep.
And it's exciting to watch. The kid's the real deal. And, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I've got some current NFL comparisons for him.
Yeah. So when Drew says he's a work in progress, do you work on that as a starter, Combs, or do you think you work on that through practice and sitting on the bench and watching Andy Dalton make those mistakes so Justin Fields can learn from mistakes without taking those lumps?
But see, that was the argument I made, with Wayne G last night was, what does he learn if you sit him behind Andy Dalton goes 0-3 in the first 3 weeks?
Right.
What does he learn?
He learns not to throw that sidearm shoulder pass to Allen for a pick six.
I think he's already not going to do that. Like I don't see this kid. Do I see him making some rookie mistakes? Sure,
100%,
but that's part
100%.
of growing pains. But
Yeah.
you're not going to alter your season by starting him week 1. You play such a gauntlet of a schedule, and he is such a better quarterback than Andy Dalton is that you can only possibly do better. I'm not saying you will do better, but you could possibly do better. You're not going to do worse than you would with Andy Dalton. You would only do better, so it just doesn't make sense to not start him.
All right, so let me ask you this question before we head to our first break of the night. What current NFL player would you compare Justin Fields to? I mean, we saw him week 1, and we saw him scramble around, make some good throws, make some bad throws. Who would you compare him to as a current NFL quarterback?
If I had to compare him right now to a current NFL quarterback, I would compare him to Deshaun Watson.
Okay, Deshaun Watson. just because of the pure athletic ability, they're able to like a pass first, run second type of guy.
A guy who no matter what is going to find a way to get it done. He's going to find a way to get you the ball, and it may not always result in wins because right now I don't think the Bears have the team around him to always result in wins. But he's a quarterback that you can build around, and he's a quarterback that's going to know how to win in this league.
I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, he's been a proven winner all through high school, college, and now, in the NFL. So I think Deshaun Watson's a very good comparison. I was actually going to compare him to Patrick Mahomes, just the way his scramble, because
I just didn't want to do that because Patrick Mahomes, I think, is on just a different level than I think it's Brady and Mahomes, and then it's everybody else.
Well, but like a guy was comparing it to like the scramble. Patrick Mahomes likes to scramble, but he's always looking down the field, and that's kind of what I saw from Justin Fields on Saturday, right? Like he was scrambling, but he was also looking down the field on that.
I think the first time he ever tries to throw a no look pass, I might try to punch him in the throat.
And what if he?
You're not Patrick Mahomes.
What if he completes it for a 60-yard touchdown?
Then you know what? Then I'll start comparing him to Patrick Mahomes.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to a few more comments here before we head to break here. Drew says, I still think he won't start till after the bye week. I'm with you on that, Drew. I think the Bears have that date circled on there. Below 500. Justin Fields start below 500. They're going to keep Andy Dalton. Combs says week 4, so we will see what is going on. What's going on
Sorry about
here.
that. That one slipped on me.
Go ahead.
Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I hope you are saying that that's his ceiling. Now, I'm comparing his playing style right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, the kid's he's not even a top 15 quarterback in the league. But he's got the potential to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. And his playing style, his ability to win, and his knack for doing the right thing, everything reminds you of what Deshaun Watson was when he came out as a rookie.
Yeah, and then Xavier says he reminds him of Cam Newton.
Ooh.
And Drew says Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson would be a good comparison too.
All scrambling quarterbacks, all quarterbacks have been MVPs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't mind the comparisons, but again, I don't like putting that on kids. When they're coming out, just let them be Justin Fields.
Yeah,
and then time will tell.
So one last comment before we head to break. Kevin Cummings says Fields will be the best quarterback out of the draft. You watch.
And this is coming from a Buffalo Bills fan.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills fan.
Yeah.
All
hey,
right.
look, I like it, man. Your guys' quarterback is not so bad yourself. Your 4th-string quarterback is a bum, but your starter is not so bad. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll be the best quarterback out of the draft. I still like Zach Wilson. Trevor Lawrence still has a say in that as well, even though I think that he's going to be a bust.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure Fields will be the best, but he's gonna be damn good.
Yeah, so we will talk about basically all those quarterbacks coming up here on the second part of Man Hour here, guys. So sit back where we are on the first break here, and after the break, we're going to talk about those quarterbacks. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this quick little commercial break for us.
the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs tonight. You can find us both on Twitter at manhour_buck and, of course, manhour_combs on the old Twitter machines. But first things first, guys, we are giving away a trip to Las Vegas, Nevada during the 2022 NFL Draft. All you have to do to enter is become a member over here on the YouTube page, youtube.com/manhour. Hit that join button for $5.99 a month. You get entered into this Las Vegas trip. You also get a t-shirt, after hours footage, behind the scenes footage, which we're still trying to tweak a little bit, and also discounts to merchandise as well. You also get access to the fantasy football podcast that Tori and Wyatt put out every Wednesday at 10:45 East Coast time. So you have to be 18 to win this prize. You have to become a member over on the YouTube page, and you get an entry for every time you like and share the YouTube feed. So you can get as many as like basically 50 entries into this trip every time you like or share or comment and all that good stuff. Easy to get entered and easy to win. So we are giving away the trip to Las Vegas here in April of 2022 to the NFL Draft. Now, Combs, of course, we cannot guarantee you a spot in the draft because tell the people how the draft actually works, getting into the draft.
So they sell packages to the NFL Draft. However, they do not sell individual tickets, and you have to get in line at whatever time the line starts forming to get into the draft. And if you are in line and they hit their capacity, they don't let you in. So we just can't guarantee that you'll get in. But still, you'll be in Vegas. It'll be during the draft. There'll be plenty of stuff going on around. You'll be out there with the Man Hour boys,
drinking the brews.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So one of you guys are gonna get to join us. So definitely hop on, subscribe, get that $5.99 subscription, and comment, like, share, so do all that other good stuff, and you'll get entries into this trip. So
yeah, and also guys, here over on the YouTube page, we have a weekly point total. So at the end of the week, the top 5 point getters at the end of the week will get additional entries into the drawing as well, and then the top point getter will win a weekly prize. We got keychains, we got mugs, we got t-shirts. What else we got? We got some stickers, and I got some sweatpants too. So if you guys are interested, head over to youtube.com, chat
You're not
away,
wearing
play
the
the
sweatpants,
games.
are you?
I'm not wearing any pants right now. I'm totally bare ass naked. Just
Oh God.
bare ass right on the leather chair, living life, man.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Did you? Like, I heard you were losing weight. I mean, like, I'm actually selling a weight loss plan where it's just a picture of my butt, nice full head of hair back there.
No. That would do the trick for sure.
That would do the trick. That would that would drop you five pounds a week, guaranteed 100%. So speaking of dropping some weight and dropping some balls, Trey Lance for the San Francisco 49ers, Combs, he had a, let's say, a so-so outing. It was basically a tale of two halves for Trey Lance. Really, really bad, and then really, really, really good. Many people are speculating that Jimmy G is out in San Francisco land and Trey Lance is the guy. After we saw Trey Lance, basically be really bad and really good in their first preseason game, what do you think the future for Trey Lance is over there?
That one's a tough one because, look, I think that the San Francisco 49ers are a team that have been riddled by injury. Yeah. And so I don't think that their record has been as good as they are. I think that this team is really good, even with Jimmy G. I mean, people tend to forget he just brought them to a Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yep.
So he was in the Super Bowl, and he had a lead in the Super Bowl. So he's not a horrible quarterback. So if Jimmy G is winning football games, Trey Lance is going to sit all year long.
Yeah.
If he's not, and because the love fest between Jimmy G and 49ers fans is gone. I mean, they want Trey Lance right now. Right. They want Trey Lance to start week 1. And as soon as he starts making mistakes, they are going to run him out of town. And so it's going to be harder and harder for them to keep Trey Lance off the field. But I think that Jimmy G is going to play well. I think that this team, if they stay healthy, is going to do well. It's going to be a really good division, the NFC West is. And so I don't think he plays at all this year. I think he's going to sit a year, and then they'll trade Jimmy G in the offseason. Trey Lance will be their starter next year.
Yeah, see, here's the problem that I see with San Francisco and Jimmy G for one. He signed a 2-year extension that has a no trade clause in it. So basically Jimmy G has to agree to any trade that he wants to do or, simply get cut, which, that's I got to know how all that head cap hit stuff works. I feel if a player isn't on my team, I shouldn't have to pay him, but that's here nor there. I'm sure there's some rules because people would exploit it, right? But we also have to realize that Trey Lance hasn't played a true game in almost 2 seasons, right? They played one simulated game in 2020 versus South Dakota State, I think it was, and that was their JV team or something like that. So that this is Trey Lance's first action in 450 some days or something crazy. It was it's so pump the brakes a little bit. Yes, he looked really bad and really good. But Combs, I'm agreeing with you 100%. I think this is a Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes take two right here.
Yeah.
They brought Trey Lance in to sit a full season. Jimmy G knows this, so Jimmy G is playing for his next contract, whether it be for Washington or the Patriots or whoever, right? So Jimmy G knows he has one foot out the door, win, lose, or draw. But this year is his last year, and I do think Trey Lance sits the whole year, no matter what.
Yeah, and I want to touch on this comment here. Kevin saying, have you seen his stats? Mediocre at best, Jimmy G.
I agree.
Look, they were a team last year that dealt with, I'm pretty sure the number was over 50 injuries.
Yep, 52, I believe Wayne G said.
Last year, their injury total was so high, it was ridiculous. Everybody on their team was injured. And this team, if they're healthy, is a real contender in the NFC. I don't know how else to put. 2 years ago, before they were getting all hurt, they were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it wasn't just like an 8-8 we slid into the playoffs. They were 13-3, and they flexed on the Packers in the NFC Championship game.
They were a Pat Mahomes comeback away from winning the Super Bowl. I mean,
no. They were a Kyle Shanahan. Stop trying to be fancy and just run the damn ball. They would have won that Super Bowl easily.
Yeah.
So Combs, actually, I wanted to bring this up last week, but I was doing a solo show. Let's flash back to that Super Bowl with Jimmy G versus the Chiefs, right? Let's say the San Francisco 49ers win that Super Bowl. They're up 28-3, and let's just say they keep that gap, and maybe it gets close.
That was
right?
the Falcons and the Patriots. It was not 28-3. They were up big though. I can't remember. I think it was 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, so let's say the San Francisco 49ers win that Super Bowl. Are we talking about a San Francisco 49er dynasty instead of the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty? Are we looking at Jimmy
because
G in a different light?
They're still all hurt last year. I mean, you can't take the injuries away.
I agree.
So I don't know if we're talking about a dynasty, but I mean we're talking about a Super Bowl winning quarterback who may not be quarterbacking his team because they drafted another quarterback. For whatever reason, right after that Super Bowl, man. 49ers fans were done with Jimmy G. They felt like it was Jimmy G's fault they lost that Super Bowl. And I just don't. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand it at all. They should have been running the ball the entire second half. I mean, that
was second
look,
quarter.
Patty Mahomes does what Patty Mahomes does.
Yeah.
And so I don't put that much on him. Now, I will say that, Jimmy G is more of a clock manager. He is more of an Alex Smith type quarterback. He's not going to wow you with the stats. He's not going to wow you with the numbers, but he's not going to lose you games. So, I don't agree. He said, he comes back and he says last year was a horrible year for them, but look at his stats through his whole career. He had 2 good years. Well, he's only had 3 seasons that he's been a starting quarterback.
And he's only
and 2 of them were good, and last year they were all hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand the hate for Jimmy G. I don't understand why people think he's like some awful trash quarterback.
Yeah.
Last year I was clamoring for the Bears to trade for him. I would have loved to have seen Jimmy G in a Bears uniform to trade Trubisky because there was talk of Trubisky to the Niners for Jimmy G, and I was all over it. I would have loved it.
And
Glad
there's a
it didn't
reason why
happen
you
because
guys
now
signed
we've
him.
got Justin Fields, but
And there's a reason why the 49ers signed him to a 2-year extension with a no trade clause,
Yeah.
right? They obviously want him there. So I'm saying if Jimmy G wins that Super Bowl versus the Kansas City Chiefs, we are looking at him in a whole new light. We're like, oh man, this is Tom Brady-esque type of guy. He can win when his back against the wall, yada yada yada. And I just think we're looking at a 49er dynasty almost, just because once you learn how to win, once you won that Super Bowl, it is because it's easy, right? I mean, hell, look at the Chiefs. They're getting ready to go to their 3rd straight Super Bowl this season and beat the Cowboys in it. So
Yeah.
it's just
and Wayne G says people don't like Jimmy G because he's a game manager. He doesn't wow you physically.
yep.
And Kevin says I may hate him because he was on the Patriots.
So bring back up Wayne G's comment there. Let me ask you this: since Alex Smith was that game manager type, because I feel like people gain more love for him after he had Patrick Mahomes sit behind him for a year and he taught him the ropes, and then he moved on and Patrick Mahomes had a great season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people gained a lot more respect for Alex Smith after that. Do you think this is going to happen for Jimmy G if Trey Lance sits down and has a great second year?
I think people gain more respect for Alex Smith after his leg fell off his body and he came back.
Twice.
I don't feel I think people still felt the same about him. I don't think Alex Smith was really a love story until he came back for Washington last year.
Okay.
It's just, and I disagreed. Alex Smith is another quarterback I would have loved to have seen in a Bears uniform. I would love to see that guy, running the Bears franchise for 5 or 6 years the way he ran Kansas City's. You got a perennial playoff team. They were contenders every single year in the AFC with Alex Smith as their quarterback. That's why Patty Mahomes sat for a full season. And that's why Trey Lance is going to sit for a full season. It's just, that's what it is.
Yeah, and one more comment before we head to our next topic here. Wayne G says, Lance wows you physically. Jimmy G needs to be on the team to be that game manager. I think Steelers.
Ooh, or hear me out. Washington football team.
Washington football team.
Their game was. Alex Smith was their quarterback last year. He was, everybody's sweetheart last year. But that's the type of game. That's the type of offense that they run. And with that defense, man, Jimmy G to Washington makes them a scary team.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Combs. Didn't you call Jimmy G to the Patriots earlier in the off season?
I did think Jimmy G was going to go back to New England.
Do you think he still goes back to New England next year?
No. I think that they've got Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is done.
I think that is Bill Belichick's new Tom Brady.
Okay. Only time will tell. So let's go ahead and, speaking of the new Tom Brady, Mr. Trevor Lawrence, he had his season debut last week as well. But the big story about this whole thing is Urban Meyer says he is starting, or he is competing for the starting job. The starting job isn't his, so him and Gardner Minshew are going head to head. Mustache Mania versus the beautiful hair. Combs.
You're competing with Gardner Minshew. There's no competition.
There's no competition.
It's Gardner freaking Minshew.
So why would you say that?
Because it's Gardner Minshew. Well, why wouldn't you say it? Yeah. Okay, look, Buck, we're going to go out here, right? And we're going to compete, and I'm going to start this football team. And you're going to compete against my 5-year-old son. And you're going to figure out who can throw the ball farther, who can throw the ball harder, who can throw a tighter spiral, okay? And he's got a broken arm, by the way. So it's the same competition. Come on, it's Gardner Minshew. You're not. Look, you're not going to tell Gardner he's not the starter because he's Gardner Minshew and he's been your starter, and you're just being respectful.
Well, he hasn't been Urban Meyer starter. He's been the Jaguar starter. There's a difference, right?
But that's he's not. He's not going. There's no chance in hell that Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars unless Trevor Lawrence freaking both legs fall off of his body. That's the only way.
So hear me out. Okay, hear me out here. Let's think outside the box here. The Jacksonville Jaguars gave up 4 sacks to Trevor Lawrence in just, 2 series in the preseason game. So clearly their offensive line is pretty much trashy, right? So let's say Urban Meyer, his little tinkering, pondering, paying off college players to come play at Ohio State self, says, hey, you know what, Trevor? Maybe we need to sit out a year. Maybe we need a 2nd or 3rd overall pick again for a good lineman to protect your little beautiful ass, right? And Garner Minshew, you can take the 5, 6, 7 sacks a game. So do you think somewhere in Urban Meyer's big head, his luscious let of hair, and the God-driven talent that the Jacksonville Jaguars is living behind with Tim Tebow, do you think Tim Tebow is praying to the gods, hey, please let us go 1-16 this year so we can get a 1st overall pick and draft a lineman and protect
The
Trevor Lawrence?
only way that happens is if Wayne G is right here. It's if Urban Meyer doesn't know or understand NFL football. That's the only way Trevor Lawrence does not play or is a start. Because you're not protecting anybody. Like, just stop. Just stop with the protecting. Stop with the breaking confidence stuff.
Years?
Stop. No. Because you know what? What are you going to do next year? You're not going to protect your next 14 years? What are you going to do the year after that? Not protect your next 13 years? Like, stop. He's a football player. He is a quarterback. You already can barely touch the guy. Stop. They are fine. Freak injuries are going to happen. The Joe Burrows injuries are going to happen every once in a while, but they're not going to happen to everybody. We don't have to protect the kids. Just like you in Tory with your if you start Justin Fields week 1, you might break his confidence. Well, if I break his confidence because he lost one NFL game, guess what? He's not an NFL quarterback. He doesn't have the mental makeup to be an NFL quarterback if you break his confidence from losing 1 or 2 or 3 straight NFL games. It's just stop. Stop putting training wheels. Stop putting diapers on these kids. They are here to be NFL quarterbacks. And if they are ready, not everybody's ready. Not everybody is ready to start week 1. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, and I'm missing one here.
Mac Jones
are all ready to start week 1. All of them.
We will get into that come later in the show here, but really? Mac Jones?
Yeah. Okay. What are you going to sit behind Cam Newton?
Yeah, Cam Newton.
In an offense that has been designed for a pocket passer for 20 plus years, and they've won 7 Super Bowls that way, you're going to throw Cam Newton into that offense? Stop. That's why it didn't work last year, because that offense is not meant for a mobile quarterback. It is meant for a true pocket passer. It's meant for Mac Jones to take over.
So let's go ahead and pop up some more comments here on the screen before we move to the next topic here. Kevin Cummings says Lawrence is going to have a Joe Burrow type of year if that line don't start doing their job and protect the kid. I agree 100%. I don't think he's going to get hurt. But
Lawrence is going to have he's going to have a Peyton Manning type rookie season. He's going to throw a lot of interceptions.
Yep.
He is going to have a very bad rookie year. Unless this team does better and get him more weapons and get him a better run game, get him better wide receivers, get him a better offensive line, this kid is destined to fail. If they can start building around him, he'll progressively get better. But right now, there is no way on God's green earth that Trevor Lawrence is just going to come in and light it up with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, so
it's just not going to happen.
So with that being said, you said build receivers, and Michael Thomas is a disgruntled wide receiver out there in New Orleans, your Saints guy, because, Winston's going to start week 1 for them and lead them to the Super Bowl. Rah, rah,
MVP.
rah. But Michael Thomas has been very upset with the Saints organization since basically his record-breaking year just a couple years ago. But however, he was seen on the sidelines, Combs, in a boot playing catch with some quarterbacks and stuff like that. Is this positive momentum for the Saints moving forward? Do you think Michael Thomas will be in a Saints uniform all season this year?
I do. The Saints realize that, he's a huge part of what they do.
He's the offense.
And without him, he's not the whole offense because I mean, look, the guy gets hurt. He does get hurt, and not only that, but he's not that downfield type threat that everybody seems to think that Michael Thomas is. Michael Thomas is an 8-yard out over the middle type of wide receiver. He's not going to beat you on. What the heck just happened? I just got something in my ears. Sorry, some video started playing. Sorry about that. But no, it was on ESPN. So he's just not that. God, I lost my train of thought now.
He is not the downfield receiver that many people think
Michael
he is.
Thomas is not he's not going to beat you downfield. He's going to run 8-yard routes, and he's going to beat you that way. He's got great hands. The guy doesn't drop very many passes, but he's not Julio Jones. He's not Devontae Adams. He's not a top 5 wide receiver in the game. He's just not. And a lot of people made him because
top 5 receiver.
No, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
He hasn't been a top 5 wide receiver in a few years, and that's partially because they stuck it out with, your boy over there,
my boy,
Mr. Birthmark himself. But
don't be jealous.
I think they're going to be able to open it up a little bit more. I really do. And
with who? Taysom Hill?
Stop. Taysom Hill is not going to stop it. If Taysom Hill is their quarterback, then maybe that's why Michael Thomas wants out. Maybe they said Taysom Hill is winning the quarterback job. Michael Thomas is like, I'm out. Taysom Hill's a tight end.
So let me ask you this: what kind of trade value would Michael Thomas warrant? First rounder, 2 first rounders?
No.
A quarterback?
I'm not giving you a first rounder for Michael Thomas. I'll give you a second and maybe a 4th.
Combs, do you realize just 2 years ago, Michael Thomas led all the NFL in receiving, right? Catches and yards. Last season, the only reason why he didn't do it because he was hurt for
with an average yards
weeks
per catch of like 6.6 yards.
Okay, he still led the NFL in catches
because
and
all
yards,
they did
right?
was pass. They don't run the ball in New Orleans. That's all they did.
Okay, I mean you are in a dome. I would do the same. Like why fix what's not broken, right? I mean come on. I mean my Michael Thomas.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time the
round
Saints won the Super Bowl?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. What 2008?
2009.
9.
I mean,
okay.
So yeah, keep doing what you're doing because apparently it's working so well.
How many divisions championships have they won? How many?
Great. How many
playoff
divisions?
games have
I
they
don't
won?
care how many. That's you sound like Wyatt right now. How many division titles have the Packers won? Great. So you win divisions and you get to lose in the NFC title game every single year. Congratulations.
Hey, it's better than some, right? You're playing in January.
No.
You're winning in January.
No, I'll tell you right now, if I'm not winning the Super Bowl, what good does making the playoffs do me?
I agree.
If I don't win the Super Bowl, my season was just as successful as the guy who went 7-10.
True. You are 100% correct on that. I do agree with that. So let's go ahead and jump into the comments here before we head to the next break here. Xavier must be friends with Joey over there. He says Tim Tebow will have a successful season. Xavier, what do you consider a successful season for Tim Tebow? A great prayer before every game, or a catch, or getting me the water, or
he'll succeed as a coach.
Yeah, good job, guys.
He's not gonna play as a player. I mean, he's gonna be a coach on Urban Meyer's staff, but that's about it.
And Drew says, I hope so. Yeah, I hope Tim Tebow has a great season. And then Wayne G comes out and says, Pat's inside Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and Nelson Algar, so Cam can run the Wildcat. That's a great point.
True
but that's
story.
also, but they also picked up those guys before they got Mac Jones, so they're building a team around Cam, right?
Because they knew what they were doing in the draft. They knew who they were going after. And they knew he was going to be there at 15.
Isn't there backup quarterback Hoyer too? I mean, like, can Hoyer even play still?
I don't think it is Hoyer.
It's not Hoyer anymore.
No, it's going to be Cam Newton now.
It's going to be Cam Newton. Where was he at here? My thing just jumped down here. Here we go. Kevin says Mac Jones or Cam Newton makes no difference. Bills to taking the vision.
I agree.
Hashtag
100%.
Bills Nation.
I said that last night. I don't care if it's Mac Jones or Cam Newton. They're still not winning more than 8 or 9 games. And with Cam Newton, they're not winning more than 6.
All right, there you go. Shots fired. Jim Tebow says trade him. Trade who? Maybe Michael Thomas. Is that who he's referring to?
Yeah, probably talking about Thomas.
Okay.
I just don't understand. Why would you? I mean, you're not going to get much for him.
Yeah, I still think he warrants a first round pick.
No, you know why? Because people know he wants out. So why? Keep your headache then. If you don't want to give him for a second and a fourth, keep your headache.
Yeah, so let me ask you this question. I believe it was on Thursday's show. I did a solo show, and the comment came up. What about Jordan Love for Michael Thomas?
You know what? I threw that out there last week. Actually, I threw that out there when we were talking about it with the guys. I don't hate that trade. If I'm the Packers, if I'm a Packers fan, I love that trade. I think Thomas and Devontae Adams makes you a Super Bowl contender instantly. Yeah. Devontae Adams a deep threat, Michael Thomas a 8-yard out over the middle. Your secondary is not going to know which way to go, right. And that makes them a real good threat, especially with the other weapons that they have at wide receiver. And I didn't say, I get over you. Wayne G's like, when's the last time the Falcons won the Super Bowl? Packers. Guess Julio and Adams aren't that good. I didn't say that he wasn't good. I just said he's not a top 5 wide receiver. You know how many wide receivers are in the game? And if he's a top 10 wide receiver, but he's not a top 5. That's not disrespectful. There's like 70, 80, 90, 100 wide receivers in the game, and you're in the top 10. Oh, all of a sudden I'm disrespecting the guy.
Xavier says, "Bro, I'm not big on baseball, but what team keeps losing? How much? Like 12 in a row now? Wow."
That would be this team sitting behind me. The Cubs. Yeah. I mean, this two 11-game losing streaks in the last 2 months. It's
and you do
hard
play
to watch, but that's why we're playing with a AAA team.
Yeah, and you play like 12 games in 14 days anyway. So
it's funny. You watch the White Sox go down to Iowa and win the first major league game ever in Iowa. The Cubs bring all their minor leaguers up from Iowa and play a major league game in Chicago and lose.
And Xavier also comes and says, "What is the record in losing in a row in baseball?" I believe the Diamondbacks have 22 or 24 in a row. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the record is 27, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to check on that, and I will let you know, Javier. Give me a second.
Yeah, we will. And then Drew comes out and says, Thomas to the Cardinals. That is one of Drew's 15 teams that he's rooting for the NFL. So, but I think you guys are already receiver heavy over there with like. Did Fitz ever retire yet? I don't know if he ever retired yet or not. But you guys are set. You guys are set in receiver line here, guys. But we are going to take our quick little break here. On the other side of the break, we've got a new segment coming up. It says coming out with Combs. Combs is coming out, guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. We'll be right back as Combs comes out.
ManHourRadio.com.
And welcome back, Man Hour Nation. It's your boy BC Brandon Combs. It is time for Coming Out with Combs. Look, this segment is going to be something that I'm going to enjoy doing because it's going to be about a topic that is something that I am steaming about, or I am happy about, or just something that I just want to talk about. So that's what this segment's all about. It's just about me coming out and taking a side on a certain stance. So, Buck, are you ready?
Yes. I think we need some type of jingle music or like coming out with Combs. You know, something really
Oh my God.
or Strickle, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to work on something.
Yeah, we definitely need a little something. So do you want to go solo? I mean, this is new. We're kind of playing at Raw Dog here. You wanna
No,
go solo? You
I'll
want me-
leave you on there because I want
Okay.
you to react to what I'm going to talk about or
All
you know
right.
whatever the subject is. I think you're going to have an input on it anyway. So that's
do it.
what we're going to talk about. So
Here, hang on.
One
let me,
thing-
Let me get the let me get the giraffe jingle up so we can coming out with Combs. Ready? Coming out with Combs.
that's so bad, so bad. Anyway, one thing that I want to talk about for the inaugural Coming Out with Combs is going to be Major League Baseball umpires. I am so sick and tired of the horrendous strike zone that is the Major League Baseball umpire strike zone. It is so bad. I expect it from Little League umpires. I expect it from high school umpires. In some respect, I expect it from some college umpires. But if you're a Major League Baseball umpire, you're supposed to be the best of the best. And when you are calling balls that are 6 inches outside of the zone for strikes and missing balls that are inside of the zone and calling them balls, you are nowhere near ready to be a Major League umpire. And there are so many that I could talk about. I mean, we could talk about Joe West. We could talk about the name that I refuse to mention, who just thinks that he's not allowed to ump playoff games because he's Hispanic. No, it's because you suck. And I don't understand where then they get players arguing with them and they want to toss them out of the game. Like, do you go back and watch the game afterwards? Do you go back and watch the calls that you made that started these guys arguing with you? Do you go back and see the horrendous call that caused him to get so heated? There's never once been a time where a ball has been in the zone and a guy has gotten tossed for saying it was a ball. I've never seen it. But you know what I have seen? Balls that are outside of the zone that get called strikes for strike 3 and cost a guy in at bat. And then all of a sudden, you wonder why he's a... It's stop. There is a strike zone for a reason. You are taught the strike zone for a reason. Why don't you use it? And furthermore, why are we still letting umps call balls and strikes? Why don't we have automated strike zones? If tennis can get it down to the millimeter on every inbounds or out of bounds ball that is hit in tennis at 119, 129, 150 mile an hour, however fast they hit it with the racket, you're telling me that when I'm watching the play with the K zone on TV, that you can't just have an automated strike zone? That's bull. With the money that Major League Baseball makes, there is no way they don't have the technology or the money to pay for the technology to have automated strike zones. It's stupid. It's time to get it done. Baseball umpires are horrendous at calling balls and strikes. They show it every damn day, and it's just getting worse. It's horrible. I mean, you alter an at-bat. When you don't have a good strike zone, you alter a player's at-bat. Now, all of a sudden, you're calling balls that are 6 inches out of zone. I have to swing at everything. Even the balls that I have no business reaching, I have to swing at everything. Did you see the video this weekend of the kid from the Little League World Series?
Yeah.
With the strike call, and just his reaction was like, what am I supposed to do? And he knew he couldn't argue. Because in Little League, you're not allowed to argue. You get suspended. If you get kicked out of the game, you're done for the next game. And you can't do that. So, it's just not fair. It's stupid. And Major League Baseball absolutely needs to go to automated strike zone. It's the end.
So Combs, now let me defend the other side of the argument here one little bit. You are a baseball purist, right? Like you like the way the game used to be, right? You know,
I love the game, but I'm not afraid of change. Like I'm all right with replay. I'm all right with automated strike zones.
Right,
I'm all right with the runner on second base and extra innings.
Yeah, I actually do like that a lot. But the part of the whole baseball thing that people like the most is the human element. You know, is the balls and strikes, is the arguing with the umpire, is the oh no, he was safe at first. You know, and I mean like all that stuff.
But they can't argue the safe at first anymore. They have instant replay. They have instant replay for everything but balls and strikes.
Which I think they should take that out, because like I think the replay should only be used for home runs and foul balls.
That's what it was initially put in for.
Yeah. So with that being said, now let me play devil's advocate here. A average major league umpire, on average, makes $120,000 a year. There are at least 1, 2, 3, 4 umpires. So they're roughly there's roughly $500,000 on the field in umpires every year. So with that being said, there's 30 teams, so there's probably 15 games, give or take. So you're looking about $7 million a year during regular season to pay for major league umpire games. You can definitely 100% create a automated strike zone for $7 million. Hell, we have it on Major League TV right now. You have a square on the freaking camera, and it shows you where the ball crosses the plate. If you really wanted to do that, you can jump on there. You can jump on the TV cast, and 9 times out of 10, it's pretty damn close. Now there are a few that you say, "Oh, that nicked the box," and when you look at it, like, "Oh, it's an inch or two, like outside."
Look, you run it like tennis. Yeah. If it touches the line, it's a strike. If any part of the ball touches the line, it's a strike. So I'm fine with that.
But then this also takes the catching ability out of the game. Like, let's just be honest. Just because, like, what makes Salvador Perez so good is being able to really frame that pitch and to watch him catch Combs. Like, you know, I mean, he's like fucking 6'5", 6'6".
He's great at framing the pitch. But if you don't have to frame the pitch, that's not a problem. You still got to throw runners out at second. You still got to have a cannon behind the plate. You still got to be able to catch a 105-mile-an-hour fastball when it's coming in. Like
you do, but the framing aspect is basically half of what Salvi's game is all about. I mean, that's why the Royals pitchers are even remotely good.
Do you know how few catchers are actually good at framing now in Major League Baseball? It's ridiculous.
I can maybe 5 or 6.
Wilson Contreras, I think, is one of the best catchers in baseball. He's horrible at framing. Horrible.
Yeah, well.
But he can call a game. He's good with the pitching staff, and he can hit.
I think that's what you framing want. Is a old school art, because if you who's the Cardinals catcher, Molina,
Yadier Molina.
Yeah, I mean him, Salvi, Buster Posey, and maybe the Yankees catcher. I forget his name. What's his name? But like, I think those are the only 4 guys that I've seen this year that really.
Talking about Gary Sanchez.
Yes. Those guys are really the only guys that come to recent memories that really frame the pitches like anymore. You like really sell it, right?
Yeah, and I mean some of them try, and I mean some of them are really good at it, and some of them it's an art. It's not hard. I teach my kids it in Little League. You know, I take my catchers behind. I show them how to frame a pitch and how to get a call. I get that, but when you're at the major league level, if you're telling me that when a guy comes into second and slides in and beats a throw by 10 feet, but his momentum carries him a centimeter off the bag and a tag gets applied, he's out, then you can do balls and strikes that way. I'm sorry. It's stupid. And Major League Baseball needed to change it 10 years ago, and they need to change it now.
Yeah, you are absolutely 100% correct. So, guys, that is the first episode of Coming Out with like Combs. Let us know how you like it. It's basically a platform to give Combs to rant and rave about anything that he wants. I feel there's going to be a lot of Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace coming up here in future weeks here on Coming Out with like Combs. So, guys, let us know. Let you know how you liked it and whatnot. But we'll be right back here on the Man Hour. We're going to open up the floor to hour number 2 to Shot Talk. You guys want to talk about anything? Let us know. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
Hey there, Mr. White T-shirt wearer dude.
Mr. White shirt wearer dude.
Do you wear the same shirt every day?
Same shirt every day.
Do you do the same thing every day.
The same thing every day.
Don't you worry, Mr. White Shirt Wearer Dude. Now with Man Hour merch, you can spice up your style each and every day. From hats to beanies to shirts, we got you covered, Mr. White Shirt Wearer Dude. Shop at manhourradio.com. T-shirts start as little as $15. Shop today.
Why, thank you, manhourradio.com, for this awesome merch. Hats, t-shirts, $15. You can't go wrong.
Pretty obvious in that one. Dak's coming back off. You got Tom Brady, and did I mention 22 starters coming back?
When I say Lamar Jackson is trash, I'm not saying he is the worst quarterback in the league, but he is definitely not the best quarterback in the league. When you say somebody is trash, it is based off the perception of the general public.
Man Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Brandon Combs tonight. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, simply head over to manhourradio.com and click on the podcast form. You can listen to it on Spotify, iHeart, and of course Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. As I should say, stumbling on words all night long. Why not carry it on now? Or you can simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour and hit that subscribe button. We upload clips each and every day, 8 p.m. or 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. every Sunday through Thursday. And on Friday and Saturdays, we throw the 8 p.m. hour as well in there. So, guys, this is hour number 2 going on to Man Hour. It is time to open up the floor to Shop Talk. If you guys want to talk about anything.
You want a piece of advice?
Go ahead.
When you start stumbling over your words, just pretend like you're stuttering, because nobody will know, and then you get away with it. Just keep going with it, and just pretend. Blame it on the stutter.
Yeah,
and you got a natural built-in excuse.
Yeah. So, speaking of built-in excuses,
I bet you suck at tongue twisters.
Actually, I'm really not that bad at tongue twisters. Red leather, yellow leather, right? Red leather, yellow leather. I got that. See, the problem is like me personally is like when I start thinking. So, like many people have stutters out there. You know, so some of them elongate words, some of them just stumble over words, and some of them just like they're like, oh, right, that thing. Like I have like all three mixed into one, and when I start thinking about shit, it makes it that much harder. And I'm just to the point where I just gotta walk away, think about it, like that one dude, right? You know, hey. But actually, I know the guy's name, but I can't say it because like I feel it starting to come on. And it is that one comedian, Brian Regan, like
okay,
he's like, you know, when you see a larger girl and you ask her when the baby's due and you know you shouldn't, and you blurt it out even louder, like, when's the baby due? And she's like, what baby? Oh, you know, the baby's at the zoo, the pandas are having the babies, you know. He is freaking funny. But like I said, guys, this is Shop Talk time, hour number 2, start of hour number 2. We have moved Shop Talk and banter to the Nuck is Bucky Boy.
Nuck if you buck, boy. Gee, learn how to. You can't read either. What are your eyes stutter too?
Sometimes I'm. My eyes are definitely twitching right now. I'm about 5 in, so you know what that means.
Nuck if you buck, boy. You never heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
Oh,
explain
man.
it to me.
It's a movie quote, but it's like basically it's saying if you're gonna step up, let's fight. Nuck if you buck. You never heard it? God, they use it in hip hop songs too.
It must be like a 40+ year old thing.
Wow. Wow.
So
Reeves, are you even 40 yet?
I'm not even close.
No, I said Reeves. I don't know if Reeves is 40. I'm 40.
I don't know
if
how
Reeves is.
Reeves. How old are
Yeah.
you, bud? I mean, I assume
He's got.
probably
I
my
think he's
age.
like. No, he's got to be.
He's probably 35.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm 34, I think.
Oh yeah, he is. He says he's 35.
There you go. Good guess. Yeah, so I'm 34, he's 35, right at the same alley. So let's go ahead and jump into this question that was posted earlier, Combs. Xavier said, well, what is the record of losing baseball in a row? Did you ever find that answer?
I did. So the Philadelphia Phillies in 1961 lost 23 games, and in the American League, the Baltimore Orioles in 1981 lost 21 games. So 23 games is.
Didn't the Diamondbacks lose 20 just a couple years ago, in a row?
I think this year. I think they lost
This year?
They were on a long losing streak this year. I don't know what it was, but I do know they lost a lot. How many losses in a row did the Diamondbacks have? Let's check this out.
I thought they were definitely flirting with the record if they didn't have it. So. Xavier also comes out and says that's why I don't watch baseball. The refs are so bad. I mean, don't single all of them out. I mean, there are those few that are freaking horrible. But
so they had
I
lost
thought the majority of them were
28 out of 30.
20 out of 30. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's still a lot of games. 28 out of 30 games. I mean, that's a whole month of baseball that you're losing.
Oh yeah.
That is rough. That's rough.
Trust me, I'm a Cubs fan. I know.
So speaking of Cubs fans, you said, or was it early last week, that you thought Rizzo was going to come back to the Cubs. Now Rizzo is on the IL with he's playing with the Mets now. No, he's playing with the Yankees. Oh, he's on the COVID list. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought he was on the IL list because it seemed like every Cub that got traded was on the IL list at some point last week. Did they all get COVID?
No, Javi is, but Chris Bryant's out there hitting walk off after walk off with the freaking Giants right now.
Do you think he comes back?
I said Chris Bryant is probably the most likely out of all of them.
Yeah,
I think
he's having success in Giants land.
Yeah, I think that he loves Chicago. He met his wife here in Chicago, and I just think that there's something there. I mean, he out of all of them, he was the only one who showed any emotion when he got traded. I just feel like there's something with him with being a Cub. I think he wants to be here. I just don't know that the Cubs are going to pay him what he wants. That's my concern. Is he's a Scott Boras guy. He's going to want, he's going to want that Nolan Arenado type money, and I just don't know if he's worth the Nolan Arenado type money because he does get hurt a lot.
Right.
He's always got a nagging, finger injury or a back or something going on. So I don't know if I could commit to a guy like that for whatever $250. Nolan Arenado got 8 for $280. I could give him 5 for $180, 5 for $200 maybe. Which gives him, it'll give him that annual salary that'll be close to what he wants. But
right.
I don't know if I commit to that many years with Chris Bryant. And I love Chris Bryant. I really do. Anybody who's part of that 2016 team, I say it all the time as a special play. I would always love to see any of them come back. Even Jake Arrieta, as sad as that was to see. But I don't know. I think out of all of them, he's probably the most likely, especially after, Anthony Rizzo and Jed Hoyer were going back and forth in the media talking about, contract extensions and whose fault it was and blah, blah, blah. I think that relationship is soured. I'm not so sure Baez is tied to Chicago as much as Chicago was tied to Baez. You know what I mean?
Right,
I think Baez is okay playing with a guy like Francisco Lindor. I think Baez would be, happy to play, in a place like I don't know, in a place like San Diego, if he's playing with Fernando Tatis Jr. You know what I mean? I think that I love Javi Baez. I really do. I think he's amazing to watch. He's great defensively. he's a little suspect offensively. He's a lot like Alfonso Soriano, where he's just very streaky. So I think Chris Bryant is probably the most likely, even though I don't know if any of them come back now.
Yeah, so earlier in the day, I posted on my Twitter, #mailtime. Slide into my DMs, ask me anything you want, sports related, like, obviously. And I had a couple questions come up, and since we're talking about the Cubs, I want to answer this question. This was from JT Sporty. I'm not for sure, but JT Sporty asked if you could like any other team besides the teams that you root for now. So you, Bears and Cubs, and me, Royals and Chiefs. Who would your other team be?
Yeah, football is easy, and Mike Reeves, if you're still watching, you're gonna like this one. I'd be a Minnesota Vikings fan. I've always liked. I like their. I like their uniforms. I like the colors. I like the skull thing. I think that their fans are amazing. Yeah. So if I was going to be anything other than Bears, the Bears didn't exist, I'd probably be a Vikings fan.
Which is weird coming from a interdivision team, which you're supposed to hate that team, but you're like, oh, the Bears weren't around. I root for them.
I do. I mean, when they're playing the Bears, I want them to lose by 55 points. But
right. And it's funny that you say that, because I'm kind of the same way. I would be a Raiders fan just because that black hole, man, that was something else back in like teams were scared to go in there because of the black hole. I mean, I would like, God want a fan base like that 100%. Like that would be so badass. But if it was like like a team outside of my division, I've always kind of been a passive Panthers fan, just because I like the baby blue, and I like in the black, and they look good. And they've always just kind of just been that mediocre team, like never really good, never really bad, but their fan
and in
base
baseball
it's
it's different. In baseball, I'd be a Mets fan.
That's weird.
Because growing up, they always had. So there were three teams that you could watch no matter what. TBS always had the Braves,
right?
And WWOR always had the Mets. So I could always watch the Cubs, the Braves, or the Mets before cable came around,
Yeah.
And so I think I would have been a Mets fan just because they were one of those teams that they were never like the best team. Like growing up, the Braves were the team, to beat in the 90s. But the Mets were they were fun to watch. They were scrappy. They were young. They were coming up. Mike Piazza was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he was. I love I love when he threw the broken bat back at the guy. No.
Oh yeah. Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him and Roger Clemens, and then it was after 9/11, the Mets' first game back at home. I was there because we were there doing the cleanup, and they gave us all tickets to go, and he hit that go-ahead home run in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And that was the loudest I've ever heard a stadium in my entire life.
Didn't they have like Darryl Strawberry?
And it was awesome.
Like that time too, and
No. That was their late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
But they that was another one. Like I was a big Lenny Dykstra fan growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I just he was just a short, scrappy guy, just tough as nails, and that was his nickname was Nails. But that guy was fun to watch. So yeah, I think I would have been a Mets fan.
Yeah, and I think I would be a Cubs fan if I wasn't a Rose fan. Just like I don't know, just
really?
I think they have a faithful fan base, and they're always like the lovable losers type of thing. And
it's funny because I was listening to it on the radio today. They're like, a Sox fan was calling in on the radio, and he's like, they're not going to be able to give away those Cubs tickets in September, and the Sox are going to be selling out. And the guy even stopped him, who was a Sox fan, on the radio, and he goes, whoa. He's like, look, we could be in the World Series, and we're not selling out our stadium. The Cubs could be 0-161, and on game 162, they'll have a sellout crowd at Wrigley.
Which is crazy.
It's just that's what Wrigley is, and that's what Cubs fans are.
And I think Wrigley Field is like one of those historical fields that you have to go. Like, if you go to any, like, if you had a choice to go to any stadium, I feel like Yankee Stadium, and then Wrigley Field would be the.
That's why if you ask any baseball fan, hey, you want to come to Chicago and watch a game? None of them are gonna say, yeah. Are we going to Guaranteed Rate Field?
Yeah.
None of them are. They're gonna be. Can we go to Wrigley, please?
It's Southside? No. Who wants to go to Southside Chicago?
Exactly.
That's just weird. All right, Combs. We are up against our last break of the night, actually. So, guys, on the other side of the break, we are going to dive into some more football talk. Let's stay in the NFC North, Combs. Let's talk some Jordan Love and how his performance was. So, guys, we'll sit back, relax, and enjoy. We got one little break, and then we'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeye along with Brandon Combs tonight. If you've missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on youtube.com/Man Hour and upload. And you can check out all the clips as we upload those 5 to 6 times a day. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course iHeartRadio and Big X Sports Radio 96.1, 1450 AM every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Now they've moved us back 1 hour to the 4 to 6 p.m. time slot. Give us a more of a prime time spot. Catch on the ride home. Then bada bing, bada boom. But Combs, we got big things happening over here at the Man Hour. We're giving a trip to Vegas. Can you tell the people,
yes, sir.
people about that?
Hey, if you want to come to Vegas during the NFL draft of 2022, all you got to do is sign up, be a member, $5.99 a month. Then comment, like, and share, earn points. The more points you earn, the more entries you get. Top 5 entries at the end of every week. Top 5 point getters at the end of every week will get extra entries into the drawing. We will do the drawing on Super Bowl Sunday, and somebody is coming to Vegas with the Man Hour crew for the NFL draft.
Yeah, so it is simple as that. So there are some restrictions, like obviously you have to be a member on the youtube.com/Man Hour page for the $5.99 month. You also have to be 18 to obviously win the prize, because we can't take kids with us on flights. So just for example, as some of the top point getters this so far just today, Drew, Xavier, Jim Tebow, Brandon Combs, and then Joey. You guys are in the top 5 there. So
I'm scoring.
You're scoring, man. You're scoring.
I get to go too.
Yeah, well, you get another entry into the drawing if you stay in the top 10 throughout the week. So
I know who I'm giving my ticket to if I win.
It's not Michelle, is it? It's boys' night only, man.
No, it's not. What are you saying? We can't have a female win?
Nope.
What?
No, we cannot have Michelle
Nana
win.
and
No.
Michelle are out.
Nope, Michelle is out. Boys' night out, man. We are doing.
I was
going to
say that. I was like, wait, you can't win if you're a female because none of our wives will be happy if we take some girl out to Vegas with us.
Wouldn't I mean Cindy would be pissed. She's like, "What? You're taking somebody else, not me?" And,
You're taking Wyatt's grandma.
have you partied with like Nana? Hell yeah, we're taking Nana.
Yeah. She would have us like what's that movie? The Hangover.
Oh yeah.
One of us would end up on the roof sleeping.
And she'd be like, "Man, you go, boys can't hang. Let's go for round 2." We're like, "We're
Yeah.
still hungover from the night before.
Yeah.
What the hell? Leave us
We gotta
alone."
go pick up Buck from Bangkok.
Yeah, I've been locked in the trunk for the last 3 hours. Wouldn't that be some shit though? Like if Nana took us, just got us all like plastered drunk. We're doing like body shots and stuff like that, and she's like, "Man, you guys are crazy. This is weird."
Yeah.
And then
That's freaking
Tori and her
insane.
hooked up.
Oh God! Stop it!
French
Wyatt's
toast
gonna
for the
watch this
win.
replay. He's gonna freaking keel over.
French
In
toast, French
Florida.
toast, French toast. So speaking of Wyatt, let's talk a little bit of Green Bay Packers there, Mr. Brandon BC Combs. Jordan Love made his debut of the 2020-21 NFL season, preseason I should say, and he looked suspect at times, good at other times. I mean, just kind of an overall average day. So let me ask you this. We've seen Jordan Love, and like we know that Aaron Rodgers is basically going to be out after this season for what we were hearing and seeing and talking to people. Do you have any faith that Jordan Love will be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers moving forward after this season?
I thought it was gonna be the start of this season.
Yeah, you did. You were hell-bent that Rodgers was going to Denver, right?
I thought Denver or San Francisco.
Yeah.
I really did.
I was right there too. Yeah.
But I don't see it lasting after this year, though. I really don't. And it's not just it's not just me saying this again. One, they've got Jordan Love, and at some point you got to see what he's got. Same thing they did with Aaron Rodgers when at some point they had to tell Brett Favre, enough is enough.
Right.
The part of me that wants to pause, though, is that if Aaron Rodgers wins a Super Bowl and wins another MVP,
you have to ride with him.
You got to bring him back, right? I mean, you've got to keep him. He's still competing at an elite level. I don't know that Rodgers wants to stay, though. So it's really a tough thing because ultimately money talks, and we see that with him coming and swallowing his pride and taking the 1-year deal and saying but then he posts on his social media that says last ride, so talking about from the Bulls thing with Devontae Adams. And so I don't know, man. It really is it's a different vibe. I don't know what to make of it. It's just one of those. It's like a soap opera where you think it might go one way, but just because it might go the other way. So it's really hard to tell. But I would say if I had to put money down on it right now, I would guess that Jordan Love is the starter next year.
Yes. So let me bring up a few things that you just said. You said that money talks. Obviously, money is not the answer for Aaron Rodgers because allegedly he was offered that big contract. What was it, 3 years, $50 million or whatever it was, right? I mean, he was offered that big deal and he turned it down allegedly back in April. Like, we don't know how true or how not true that actually is. But on the hindsight of things, Aaron Rodgers basically said that he basically wants to be the general manager, and that's not going to work in Green Bay. That's just the way it is. I mean, hell, I'm seeing people say hashtag bring back Clay Matthews. Like, are they wanting to bring back every great Packer like in the last 10 years? Hell, bring back Jordy and Darryl Shepard like at this point, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, do I see Jordan Love starting next year for the Green Bay Packers? Absolutely not. I don't think Jordan Love will be in a Packer uniform come the end of this year. I think Jordan Love is strictly there for right now as trade bait. I mean, once because I believe you have to trade him before week 10. I'm not.
And that is another part of me that I thought of too, was that Jordan Love, if he was the guy that they wanted him to be, would they have just called Aaron's bluff and let him walk? I mean, if Jordan Love was that good, if Jordan Love
clearly
is what Aaron Rodgers was when Brett Favre was leaving, they would have let Rodgers walk. They wouldn't have let him trash the organization for 4 months. They wouldn't have let him make a mockery of everything. As soon as he had that press conference where he was talking bad about the organization,
you're right,
he would have been gone. And I don't think that Jordan Love is what they thought that he was, and I think that they know that. So.
Or does that show you
that's another aspect of it?
Or does that show you how great Aaron Rodgers is? Like saying, "Hey, we do have the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and we just can't let him walk away for free." Right? So, I mean, there are two sides of the coin, but I'm kind of with you on this. Like, Jordan Love isn't their guy. Otherwise, they probably would have let him walk. Right? 100%. Like they'll be like, you know what? You can retire all you want, but we still have your rights for the next 3 years or whatever it is. But wasn't it Matt LaFleur came out and said, we need Aaron Rodgers in a bad way, right? I mean, he flat out said that. That is throwing Jordan Love under the bus before he even took a snap in the preseason. Shows you what they're working with, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that at some point you have to admit what you have in Jordan Love. And if he's the guy, then he's the starting quarterback. And if he's not, then he'll be in another uniform. But I just feel like if he was, Aaron Rodgers would be in another uniform.
So then the question gets proposed. Is Jordan Love on the roster right now strictly for trade bait to add pieces for the Green Bay Packers to make a deeper run in the season? Let's say a receiver gets hurt. Let's say a linebacker gets hurt. Is Jordan Love there to bring in every replacement when somebody goes down?
You mean just like a journeyman backup?
No, I mean like I'm going to trade Jordan Love to the LA Rams for their linebacker. I'm going to trade Jordan Love for the Saints for Michael Thomas. He is there to add the piece that goes down in the regular season, meaning he's a trade bait. He is there simply to be traded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. I don't know who's going to give up a whole lot for Jordan Love, knowing that you don't know what you're getting.
Right. I mean, you could have a greatest quarterback of all time, or you could have Ryan Leaf. Right. You don't you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, or he could be Nick Foles, who comes out and plays well enough to win you a Super Bowl.
Right.
And
very true. And then sucks it up for the Bears.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a tough call. It's we're just gonna have to wait and see with this one, because I really thought the writing was on the wall, in April and in May, but here we are, and Aaron Rodgers is back. So.
Yeah, so Drew comes out and says, "I feel bad for Jordan Love. None of this is his fault, and he's the one being screwed." Is he really being screwed though? I mean, he is getting paid millions of dollars to be a backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, and
is he being screwed? Because I mean, Drew, do you know something we don't know? Like, this is like, I don't know, and we said this last night. I don't know what Jordan Love is playing, or what Justin Fields is playing like in practice, but I did see him on the field on Saturday and thought he was great. Now, if the coaching staff is seeing something different in practice, we don't know that. And Wayne G made that point last night, and I agree with that. Now, the only time we're seeing Jordan Love is in the preseason, and other than that, the only time you see him is in practice. So I don't know how good Jordan Love is. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, and on hindsight, we don't know how. We really don't know how any rookie is going to be when they're not playing against third and fourth string guys. So let's just be flat out honest about that. Week 1 of the NFL season will tell a lot.
I will say that if he's out there like Justin Fields, and I said that yesterday too. That was my argument. My rebuttal to Wayne was, if a guy is out there and he's putting up the numbers and he's looking so good against the second string that is looking slow to him, like Justin Fields said it was, then that would probably suggest that he's ready for the first string.
Very, very, very well true here. So Xavier brings up a question here, Buck. What football team lost the most in 2 years?
Was that the Lions when they went like 1-15 and then 0-16?
It was either the Lions or the Browns. I don't know the answer to that one, because if you think about it, didn't the Browns have an 0-16?
It makes me feel like
two?
it's a trick question and it's the Chiefs because he just wants to dog you.
Yeah, but the Chiefs had a 3-13 season, and then I think the next year we had like an 8-8 season.
You gotta look up Crime Mob, Nuck If You Buck after the show.
All right, I will definitely do that. Let's go ahead and bring up the next quarterback of this rookie class here. This is obviously a rookie NFL quarterback filled show here tonight. Zach Wilson looked pretty damn good versus the Giants. So the question has to be raised here, Combs. Is Zach Wilson the most ready NFL rookie quarterback to start Week 1?
Is who?
Zach Wilson, the Jets quarterback.
Zach Wilson.
Your guy, right? You think he's going to have the best career out of everybody, right?
I do. I think he was the best quarterback to come out of this draft. I think that he is the most ready to start. I think he's going to have a good year. And you know, I saw something posted earlier. One of the Jets linebackers said something that just sounded funny because of the way he said it. But if you sleep on the Jets this year, and before this even got said today by the Jets linebacker, I said this last night on our show. If you sleep on the Jets, you're going to lose the game. I think the Jets are going to come up on a couple of teams this year, and they are going to win a few more games than they should because teams are going to take them lightly. And
False.
I don't think that's false at all. I think Zach Wilson is going to be... you don't give enough credit to the fact of how bad that coaching staff has been over the last, I don't know, however many years.
I do.
It's a brand new regime in there. I'm a big believer in Robert Saleh. I think he can change the culture there. I think Zach Wilson is a right step in the right direction to change the culture there. I think they've got some weapons there. I think this team is poised to be that silent team that sneaks up and wins some games that they shouldn't win. I'm not saying they're going to be a 9 and you know, I'm not going to say they're not going to be that team that sneaks into the playoffs. They're not going to be 9-8 or 10-6 or anything crazy like that. But they're not going to be a 4-win team either. I think this might be a 7-win, a 7-9 season or a 7-10 season, and be that to me for the Jets is a successful first season for Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh.
That's a pretty bold statement there, Combs, because, you know, I believe before the draft, you know, we kind of made our predictions, and didn't you have the Jets like maybe three wins or some of that? Like, and I know that Wyatt himself had the battle of the Jags, or no, it was
I had the
Eagles.
Jets at 5 wins.
You had the Jets at five wins. I don't know. I mean, watching that game, Zach Wilson looked the most ready, but I think we've seen Zach Wilson be who he is going to be. He is not going to get any better. He's not going to get any worse. I think the most ready Week 1 quarterback, honestly, and like I've said, he should sit the whole season, is Justin Fields. Justin Fields, hand down, looked the best out of all these rookie quarterbacks. Just like what he said, and it pops out on me on film. The game looked slow to him. It looked like he was at Ohio State playing Appalachian State. Let's just be honest. Everything looked slow to him. He was doing what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted to do it. Justin Fields is by far the most ready quarterback Week 1 over Trevor Lawrence, over Trey Lance, over Mac Jones. I mean, I saw very little of like Mac Jones, but I saw enough that I think Cam Newton is going to start. So Combs, out of the 5 quarterbacks that were drafted in this year's draft, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Trevor Lawrence, who of those 5 are going to start Week 1?
Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence. God, I really want to say Justin Fields. I just don't think that they will. I think they won't just because they keep saying they won't, and they're just going to stick to it just because, not because he's not the better quarterback.
It's the point to prove that you need to work harder type of thing.
Yeah,
I think
Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson. I'll say it'll be the three.
Yeah, and
Justin Fields will be in by week 4.
I think week 4 is a stretch. I think he comes in the bye week. I think Trey Lance
Week
sits
10?
all year. Yeah.
I don't. If he's not coming until week 10, then he's not going to play at all this year, because if he's not coming into week 10, the Bears are playing really good football.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the next topic of today's show here. So, Combs, let me bring up this video here, guys, and just play it for you here, guys. I'm gonna just let you play it and tell me if you guys see anything wrong here.
It's just so bad. Yep.
So as you guys see there, number 42, his name is Benny Lemire. Let me pause that so that it is not in my ear. So Benny Lemire gets flagged for taunting for flexing on the receiver there or the defense there, Combs. With that being said, are we going to see this all year? Can we take this flexing and 15-yard penalty? That's absolutely ridiculous, right?
It's so bad. It's just it's horrible. But see, it seems like every year the NFL comes up with one of these stupid rules that they just start throwing the flag off crazy and then by halfway through the season, after the fans and the players and the coaches start complaining about how often it gets called and how stupid it is, then they stop calling it. What was it a couple years back? It was the review for pass interference. All of a sudden, it was getting reviewed every damn down, and then by week 8, nobody was reviewing it anymore because it was never getting overturned.
Which was that's so dumb.
It was just. I mean, it was stupid. It was and this is one of those things too. It's dumb. It makes no sense. I mean, the guy got up. He made a run. 19 guys were trying to bring him down, and none of them could.
Freaking run. Let's be honest.
And then he flexed afterwards. So what? Come on. How many times do we watch the quarterback get sacked and somebody do something stupid where they go out and they flex? How many times do we watch Aaron Rodgers run into the end zone and do the discount double check?
Yeah.
They made a commercial because of it.
See, here is the biggest thing. It is not like he was sitting there, flexing on him. He was just saying, "Yeah, right, yeah, hell of a run." Right? I mean, he was just
even
was excited.
If he was flexing on him, he does. So what?
This guy is literally fighting for his career right here. Damn right he's going to be excited about it. I mean, he could be making millions of dollars if he makes that run, or he's going to be working at the grocery store making $12.50, right? I mean, this is literally life-changing play here for this guy. Damn right be excited, man. Fuck you, NFL, for throwing that flag. This is absolutely done. This is why the NFL stand for no fun league after the whole Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens, saga, when they're signing the camera and the popcorn and all that stuff, and they cracked down on that, and now they're starting to loosen things up a little bit, and then Tyreek Hill started doing the peace sign, and then and then the Bucs defender dead at back oh, we can't have that. You guys can't be having fun out there. You can't be showing no personality. Come on, you guys get paid millions of dollars to play a damn game. Let them have fun. Come on. I mean, Combs, let me ask you this. Let's say if everybody was stone-faced all game long, set hike, threw the ball, tackled, going back to the huddle. Are you going to watch that? No. After a big-ass play, you want to see that first down, feed Zeke, right? I mean, let him play. Damn.
It's so stupid. There's a reason why they start calling the NFL the no-fun league.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
It's stupid. It's just some of the stuff they come up with. I don't understand it. Let them play. When did they start saying
mockery?
Yeah. When did they they started saying, "Oh, you couldn't celebrate in the end zone." Then they're like, "Oh, you can do whatever you want to celebrate in the end zone." These guys are playing a game where adrenaline takes over.
Yeah.
And sometimes adrenaline takes over, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. Sometimes guys will do stupid things. I agree. But flexing, freaking waving at your opponent, that's all part of the game. How great was it in the Super Bowl when, was it Tyreek Hill ran down and he gave the peace sign as he was running in the end zone? And then after the Bucks player blocked the last pass, he gave him the peace sign while he was laying on the ground.
So
to me, that was awesome.
I'm a Kansas City fan. I freaking loved it. I'm like, you know what? If you can't talk the talk, don't walk the walk, right?
If you can do it while you're winning, you're going to get it back when you're losing.
Yeah,
and that's just how it goes. That's part of it. And if you can't take the heat, stay the frick out the kitchen.
So Combs, funny thing is that video that we just saw. I'm a coach in high school. I coached defensive side of the ball. My kids made a huge sack on Friday night. I did that same exact thing. Yeah, motherfuckers. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a 15-yard penalty. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
look, when I'm playing my kids at Call of Duty and I kill them, I do the same thing. I'm telling you right now.
I did that to River when I body slammed him on the couch and bounced him off. Like, yeah, you like that? And like, oh shit, he's hurt.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you're flexing, and he's like, oh, Dad, you broke my collarbone.
my dad, dude. So Xavier says, hey, Buck, where's the crew at? Combs is here. Wyatt is on vacation.
I think he's talking about your kids. Your kids aren't hanging out with you tonight.
So fun fact is my wife works the weekends. So usually on Saturday and Sunday. So usually on Sundays, like, I don't do the show because she gets home late, but she is training for a new position at the hospital. So on Wednesdays and Thursdays, she's been having to work from like 7 to 7. So that's why the kids were out here like last week. So I have a couple more weeks of that. So unfortunately, hopefully next time they'll be in bed. But no more Tyrannosaurus Rex, right?
Yeah. Drew says that's what happens when snowflakes take over a league. I couldn't agree more. Look what happens when they take over a country. My bad.
Oh, no. We can talk about that. So, Combs, we're getting ready to start the after show here. So let me go ahead and start the streaming going here. After show, August 16th. So if you guys are a member, simply head over to after show. It's titled August 16th. Simple after show there. And Combs, let's talk about what's going on in Afghanistan. Do you want to talk about that?
We can. Want to get fired up? I mean, it's not gonna go well, but sure.
So Xavier says, let's speak politics. Xavier, if you are a member here on YouTube.com, head over to the after show here, and we'll speak some politics. All right? Because it's the after show. We can do whatever we want.
It's true.
Combs, send us out.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.